Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint Germain family, to my Champions League round of 16 predictions. Let's jump straight into it. First of all, we got Bayern Munchen versus Bayern Leverkusen. Very tough, game to predict right here. Obviously, played at the Allianz Arena. Every single game that's on the left-hand side will be the team at home. Obviously, I watched their recent game in the Bundesliga. Ended 0-0 by Leverkusen. Were by far the most superior team. But this is the Champions League, and this is something people have to understand. This is one of Bayer Leverkusen's first knockout games in a very long time. Bayern Munchen, they've been in this position. They still have some experienced players, so I think this game will be way more even than it's been in the Bundesliga recently. And Bayern Munchen, definitely, now that they are like 8 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga table, this is their goal. They're not even in the domestic cup anymore. It's all about the Champions League this season. And I think Bayern, because now they're coming towards the end of the season, they will try to pick up all the form, and they will come in, they know what they have to do. They know what they want to do in this game. And that's why I'm picking FC Bayern Munchen to get a 3-1 victory at home, taking that to the Leverkusen Arena. I think they will have probably one of their best performances this season, because they will need to do that against Bayer Leverkusen. Next up is Feyenoord versus Inter Milan. One of the most boring games in terms of narrative, in terms of football. It's going to be a Feyenoord's arena where they've been very good this season. Inter Milan, obviously, they are a good side. They're like my dark horse for the UCL, like a 5th, 6th best team in the UCL this season. And I'm just predicting a casual 1-1 draw between the two teams going to the San Siro, where Inter Milan will try to win the game. Next up is PSV versus Arsenal. Arsenal coming into this game after dropping 5 points in their last 2 games in the Premier League. And they're very diabolical away in the Champions League, both last season and this season. PSV on the other side, very good at home. Obviously, recently knocked out a very good side. So I'm picking PSV to win 2-1. But the leg is still open going at the Emirates, where Arsenal most likely will get the win and knock PSV out. Next up is Club Brugge versus Villa. Another, somewhat boring game in the round of 16 compared to all the other games. But I will watch Club Brugge versus Atalanta, and they surprised me really well. They were really good. And I think Aston Villa is a team that looks better against bigger sides, because they're more of a counter-attacking side. So they like to play teams that have the ball. Club Brugge will be the opposite of that. And that's why I think they will get another unlikely result, 2-1 victory versus Aston Villa at their home stadium. Next up is Lille versus Dortmund. Very interesting tie. I rate Lille this season. I've watched them both in the UCL and in the league. Obviously, we recently smacked them 4-0, but they are mostly looking ahead of this game, caring about this game. Played some of a rotated lineup as well versus us. Dortmund, on the other hand, they would not be playing UCL next season. They're like mid-table in the Bundesliga, so a bit similar to Bayern. All that they have left to compete for is the UCL this season, and I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Both teams very good offensively, not the best defensively, and that's why I'm going for a 2-2 draw in this game. Next up is FC Barcelona versus Benfica. It's going to be a Benfica stadium, and this is pretty much a rematch of the recent match we saw. 5-4. I don't think it will be that many goals. Barca heading into this game with very good form in 2025 so far. And I watched Benfica versus Monaco as well, and Monaco were really good in that game and should have probably knocked out Benfica and been in this stage versus Barca instead. But I'm going for a cheeky 3-1 victory to Barca, taking it to the Mandzukic for the second leg. Next up is Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid, a game I'm very excited to watch. This is, two titans of Spanish football, 2 titans of the Champions League coming up against each other. Yeah, it will be a very interesting game. It will be a very interesting game. Both games between them this season have ended in 1-1 draws. So I'm going with the same. A 1-1 draw, taking everything into the next second leg between the two teams. And lastly but not least, Paris Saint Germain versus Liverpool. The biggest game of the round of 16 tie, the most exciting game, the game that everyone is looking forward to watch after the Madrid Atletico game, ahead of the Atletico game, Madrid game. Very big game at the Parc des Princes. I'll obviously be uploading more videos having my thoughts about this game, but to end this, I think Paris Saint Germain will get what they're looking for. Liverpool, unfortunately, will have to take it to Anfield and try to do their best there. I'm predicting a 3-1 victory to Paris Saint Germain, a great performance, and getting those 3 goals, and Liverpool getting 1. This has been it from our Champions League round of 16 predictions. Let me know in the comments down below what's your round of 16 predictions. That's been it from boy PSG, and as usual, allez Paris.